Welcome back to this shit show.
Thank you. I feel welcome.
Oh, boy. No sleepy.
Do you want a shot of espresso?
No. Maybe, but not right now. No. Awake. Welcome back to the Dime Gaming Bros podcast. Hello. What's up, dude?
I'm waiting for you to introduce me.
You are dude.
I am the dude.
I am Guy. You are dude.
I just watched that movie and I was very underwhelmed because I'd heard so many great things about it and how funny it is, and I watched it and I'm like, this isn't even funny.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah. I mean, John Goodman did a fantastic job, and Jeff Bridges did a great job at playing a bum, but it was like, what is the story even about? Nothing. It's just a dude.
Some guys doing things.
Doing stuff.
Balls.
Dude, I did not find joy in it. I haven't
watched that in a while. I should watch that again. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
I am Guy. You are dude.
I am the dude.
We play games sometimes. Mostly.
Wait, does that make you French if you're a guy?
No, like Guy Gardner. So I'm Irish. Which is sad for me.
Mm-hmm. Small PP.
It does mean that I'm Nathan Fillion, though. So that's neat, I guess. We play video games, but we suck at them.
Yep.
Mostly.
Yep. What'd you play?
I played Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So 4 months ago, I think, or so, I replayed and reviewed this game's predecessor, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It's a fantastic game. Brief recap. It's really good. It blends different eras of Star Wars together. It's presentationally strong. It pushes a whole bunch of games into a blender, and everything turns out pretty well. It was very important for the world to have that game.
I believe your biggest complaint about the game was the attacks are animation based.
Yeah, it's my biggest, I wouldn't even call it a peeve. It is a criticism, but it was just kind of clunky. Whereas a lot of
you can't cancel animations.
Yeah, so a lot of things would be more drawn out than they needed to be, including in all areas of the game, not just combat, but also platforming and whatever.
See, I pay attention.
You do. So, Jedi Survivor came out this year, in the year of our Lord, 2023. It takes place 5 years after the events of the first game, and it continues the adventures of young Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, who was knighted in the field. He gets the band back together, and some shit happens. It's wicked good. It's wicked good.
End of review.
Yeah, pretty much. So it has a more original story. The first game was, while very good, it was fairly safe in its material and storylines. It was a lot of very familiar elements kind of just smushed together to make it recognizable and safe, which is totally fine. This one ends up using a lot of material from the High Republic era, which has been going on in the expanded universe novels and comics and such for the past 3 years, I think. I've been loosely keeping up with it, not as much as I want to, but a lot of it has been very, very good, and it's nice to have an era just pretty completely disconnected from anything else that we have in Star Wars. During an adventure, Cal has a new crew. The crew of the Mantis from the first game have broken up for undisclosed reasons, and he's got this new crew. You go on a mission with them to Coruscant. It opens up with a bang. Everybody dies except for one person and Cal. It's pretty rough. So he is even more survivor guilty than he was last time around. Everyone around him dies. He's all sad about it. So he tries to get the gang back together because he needs their help, because basically he hits the big red button that says you probably shouldn't touch this, and he releases I just realized now that I'm going to be spoiling things for you as you just started the game, but you'll be fine. Huh? Exactly. He awakens a long sleepy Jedi from the High Republic era who's been in stasis for 200 years, who goes a little Joker moment, a little crazy, and becomes the bad guy. There's a lot of other plot twists that are way more spoilery that I'm not going to spoil, but that's the gist of it within the first third of the game. There is a planet or system of planets called Tanalor, which can be reached through like an asteroid field wormhole thing. Basically, it seems to be a safe haven from the Empire. So Cal wants to use it for keeping people safe from the Empire who have been dealing with their shenanigans. Turns out that Seer, in the time between the first game and this game, has been working with the Hidden Path, which we saw in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show as a pipeline of getting Force-sensitive people away from the Empire and whatnot. So they end up wanting to ship all these people off to this super secret place because the Empire couldn't find it. The reason why the bad guy wants to go to Tanalor is because he's already been to Tanalor, and he wanted to use it as like a new home for the Jedi, use it as like a training base and such. And then because of a bunch of plot related reasons, the Jedi said, nah, fuck that shit. But he had like made it his life's purpose and stuff, so he's all, no, it's mine. He's a wicked cool character. That's about as much of the plot as I feel comfortable going through. Cal goes on various shenanigans while trying to get to Tanalor to keep people safe and stuff. There's a metric crap ton of new information, I guess, in this game, because it's only pulling from the High Republic era by association, I guess. Like, a couple of characters are name dropped that you would know if you had read some of the books, but it's not really plot related to the High Republic era. It's just, holy shit, 500 years ago there was a Jedi, he got put in the sleepy tube, and now he's mad. And how that kind of intersects with the Empire.
I wish I could be put in the sleepy tube.
Seriously. So I think the story is really, really good. It is a bit drawn out in terms of the pacing. The game is, I think, about 5 hours longer than the first one. The characters are all very interesting and well performed and well written, particularly a character that I won't tell you which one it is, but there's a very, very good character who's very relevant. It's not who you think it is, but you'll know who it is when you're done with the game. Who's really, really, really fantastic. Because it's naturally less familiar ground, it doesn't feel quite as... it doesn't feel as Star Wars-y, but playing Fallen Order felt like going home. It had that really, like, finally, Star Wars, which was really needed at the time. And I absolutely love a lot of the stuff in this game, the vast majority of it, and I do like the High Republic era, but it is going to be unfamiliar to people who aren't familiar with it. Like, it's going to be moderately alienating because it's a very different era of the galaxy with a different aesthetic, different politics, different species. Like, a lot of stuff is really different. But it does mean that the game kind of isolates itself from other TV shows, books, whatever, and it's just kind of there on its own, which I do really commend it for, just being its own original story that has very little to do with much else. So that's really cool. There are a lot of twists and turns and major decisions that happen in this game, which most of them land really well for me. Like, really, really well. There were multiple times I would throw my fist in the air and start screaming. It was lots of really good moments. And then some of them came completely out of nowhere. The chemistry between the old crew and Cal is still wicked strong. The performances are arguably even better than they were in the first game now that they have some more experience. They've been through so much as a group and individually that it lets you listen to the implication of a lot of the dialogue and just kind of imagine all the other stuff that they've been through. They're in very different places than they used to be. So I appreciate that. It really doesn't spoon feed you pretty much anything that you don't need desperately to understand the story. Cal and Marin are like one of the best Star Wars couples now, so massive W. Grease is still literally like the trash man. He's Colin. He just looks like he needs a noogie.
He looks like Oscar. He lives in a trash can.
Seriously. All the characters are really good, including the new characters. Very, very well-rounded, well-acted, well-performed, and well integrated into the story. There are a couple of legacy characters from the main saga that do make an appearance, but it is drastically less than Fallen Order, whereas Fallen Order felt more like Cal was weaving his way through events that we could have seen in a movie, whether it be like coming across Saw Gerrera or going to Kashyyyk or all that sort of stuff. This feels a lot more like... I'd almost call it Force Unleashed-esque in the way that it feels really special when a legacy character shows up. There's only a couple of them, and a handful of, like, hypothetically you might know this character, but like they're Ship Glutto from the Gabagool system. Like, you saw them one time in one frame in a movie. But the couple of big characters that show up are really well earned. They don't feel like the plot necessarily rests on them, so they actually feel like a nice treat, where you're like, oh shit, I know that guy, and oh, all this is going on, instead of it being like, wow, it's a game with Darth Vader in it, or whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. So I like that. The aesthetic style of the game, I think, is preferable, honestly, to Fallen Order. Fallen Order was really, really good at meshing the prequel and original trilogy eras, including planets from both eras, as well as watching the Empire take over planets we had already seen before. So it was really good at having, like, culture shock from planet to planet, which was really cool. Jedi Survivor has a lot of original planets and really interesting technology, like I said, because a lot of it relates to the High Republic. So this was wicked old technology, and it's just really cool. It's a lot of tan and gold and bronze and stuff. So the vibes are strong with this one. General presentation is very good. I think it's a little better than Fallen Order in that category. There is a cutscene flashback of the events of the first game as you open up this one. I think it's basically Cal falling through a holocron is like how it's presented. It's just the big beats from the last game. That gets you caught up to speed or refreshed really well. I liked that. The menu is a lot more interactive than it was in the first game as well. The music is still fucking excellent. It uses an equal measure of old, previously known themes and a lot of new stuff. Comes in clutch, really hard during emotional moments. It's used extremely well. Gameplay is a massive upgrade from the first one. On pretty much all fronts. The combat has been had its speed increased, and a lot of the animations either shortened or have, as you kind of alluded to earlier, the ability to cancel animations, something that's fairly common in, melee combat games such as Dark Souls, where it gives you more options to do things. Whereas in the first game, they really wanted to show off how pretty the animations were, but it could make the combat a little busted because you weren't able to stop what you were doing and like deflect an attack or whatever. It's very frustrating after a while. This game, it's a lot faster, it's a lot smoother, there's a lot more options. There are stances, which is the ability to switch between single blade, double blade, dual wielding, lightsaber and blaster, and a crossguard saber, which functions as a longsword, and it's orgasmic. The wide variety of gameplay they added on to the original combat loop with a decent amount of depth to it is really impressive. The skill trees are all also a big upgrade from the original one. They just have more skills, more variety of skills, and they all function a lot better. There are still a few skills that seem a little misplaced, I guess. Like it's you use a skill point to get more health, but there are also health upgrades in the world. It just seems a little contradictory to have both of them. Just for the sake of streamlining it, seems a little dumb, but the combat loop is a lot more enjoyable moment to moment. It works a lot better in boss encounters as well. I think the boss battles are not quite as good as the ones in the first game. Those ones were all pretty good, but there was Terran Malicos was my favorite one from the previous game, and the Trilla fight at the end of the game for the Ninth Sister was really bugged out. It was very cheap In this game, I think it's more even-keeled, but it also means that the highlights aren't quite as good. You end up fighting the main antagonist of the game, Dagon Gera, the evil bad Jedi man, multiple times, which can feel a bit repetitive. He does have a really cool moveset because he only has one fucking arm, so he fights really cool, like just very interestingly. He at some points makes like a force projection of an arm to use it to hold a lightsaber and stuff. It's wicked cool. He can just fight with the lightsaber with the force, but like he's holding it. Just really cool stuff. There is a fight with his basically lieutenant, which is very cool and it looks good, but it's wicked cheap. It does bug me. Like, it took me like 3 hours for one boss, and every time I was like, that seems a little it's not just me being bad at it. It was really hard to pin down a specific criticism of it. Just I'd say the combination of like reaction time and accuracy was just off. It was really hard to get through that, but everything smoothed out after that as well. Just the boss battles are a little less tension grabbing, but also there is a boss battle with a legendary Star Wars character in the game, which is really good. It's not amazing, but it's very fun and it's very relevant to the story, which is cool. Platforming has had a pretty decent increase as well. It's not early Assassin's Creed levels of cool, but it's definitely a lot better. It's a lot faster. It smooths over the animations a lot more than the first game did. It's a lot harder to get stuck on things. The geometry is just laid out a lot better. Also, there's the addition of a grappling hook, which makes things a lot more fun, but also it doesn't cheap out like the gameplay loop to just, I don't know. For example, in Halo Infinite, I really like the grapple shot. It's fucking awesome, but it also does mean that you're less inclined to use vehicles because the grapple shot is wicked fast. So it can make you kind of just zip around the single player campaign really quickly without appreciating it. Jedi Survivor doesn't do that because you can only use it in certain circumstances. So it's less that it necessarily gives you more options in like a open world sandbox way, and more like it's a new tool that opens up more paths like a Metroidvania, which is cool. It also just adds some pizzazz sometimes. Like if you're, say, grappling onto the edge of a ledge, you can hold the jump button, so when you go up at the end of it, you do like a flip and land on your feet instead of like grabbing onto the ledge. Little stuff like that adds a lot. The variety of force powers as well for combat and I guess stealth, hypothetically, have been increased. They're still a little weak, but because in this game you end up using the dark side a little bit, there is a wider variety of powers and ways that they are demonstrated, which is really nice. It does add to the variety. The first game could feel a little limited because you were limited to, light side force Jedi powers. On that note, the game also doesn't hit Cal with the amnesia brick like most sequels do, where they're like, Lamau, forget everything you learned in the first game. There is still a learning curve. The first level is mostly a tutorial, but you just have the skills that you acquired in the previous game, or at least the vast majority of them, right from the get-go, and then it adds on top of them instead of just making you go through the motions again to feel as powerful as you did in the last game. This game actually makes you feel more competent and more powerful than you were before, which is really important for sequels that take place years later. A few of the large developments in the plot work very well on an emotional level as well. I did get very frustrated with certain choices that characters made. I did get emotionally engaged. There's a lot of, damn, that makes sense, but also fucking die, you dumbass.
So maybe you shouldn't play video games while you're on your period.
Shut up. I'll do whatever I want on my period. I just like that. It's nice. It's nice being able to play something and watch a lot of cutscenes and not feel like characters are making decisions just because the plot requires them. There's a lot of choices that are made which are handled in a way that feels understandable when they're explained from that character's perspective, but they are frustrating in the moment. Back to gameplay real quick because I forgot. There's also like a buddy squad system at play in certain parts of the game. It's pretty simple. It works okay, but it isn't much to hold on to. During certain campaign missions, you will be paired up with a squad mate to help you with platforming and combat it's okay. The AI actually works is the bigger part that makes it cool. The AI works. The character does what you tell it to do. It functions. It can actually kill enemies. It's more just not utilized enough for my liking. If you're going to introduce an element like that, I think you should use it a lot, or give you the opportunity to do it outside of main missions where you can just get off the Mantis, pick a squad mate, and then go fuck off. I think that would be neat. They don't do that, which is a little disappointing. So it feels a bit shallow, but it does add a little bit more spice to the gameplay loop. Technical qualities is a little rough. Fallen Order did launch originally in a bit of a rough state, but it was patched pretty quickly. It just needed an extra month in the tank, basically. Just needed a little bit of extra shine on it. Jedi Survivor launched in an abysmal state. The game was complete in the sense that all of the campaign is there. They're not skimping out on like cosmetic items or whatever that you have to wait to get later. It's more a matter of the fact that the optimization is abysmally shit, especially on PC. Like, the game didn't work on launch for like a month. Now, it works pretty well. It does still have some pretty big problems, though. The file size, I believe, is around 140 gigs. And for a game that isn't, like, jaw-droppingly gorgeous, it's not good for it to be that big. It certainly is not an ugly game by any means. But I think they picked and chose between... they played eeny, meeny, miny, mo with certain elements from Fallen Order that they wanted to look better or look worse, I think. Because... it didn't feel like a general quality increase. It felt selective. Whereas, say, I think cloth simulation is a lot better. I think hair simulation is a lot worse. It's just stuff like that. I feel like they really had to pick and choose what they could spend their time and resources on, which is a shame because this game released 4 years later and may have been in development for at least 5 years. So I think that's a little lame. I played it on the Xbox Series X, and I still had a decent amount of problems. There's a lot of pop-in, like a lot of pop-in. There's pop-in during cutscenes, there's pop-in during gameplay. Sometimes you'll load into an area, and it's like a good minute before everything's kind of caught up to you. That's not good. That's pretty bad, actually. There's also a lot of moments during the game where it will stop you and wait to load stuff up, mostly because the game worlds are a lot bigger. It is more of an open world than it was previously. Jacob, you'll find out very soon. But, like, say you're exiting the main hub area, which is a diner bar, whatever, that Grease set up on another planet. It's a cool location. It looks good. The characters there are very fun. You can listen to, like, rumors for more gameplay opportunities about, like, oh, there's a giant frog down the street. Go punch it. Whatever. Stuff like that, which is cool. But, like, it'll stop you at the door before you exit for, like, 10 seconds while it definitely is loading stuff. And it's pretty rough. It's kind of disappointing because I felt like the first game was really good at not doing that. The game worlds were still fairly large, but it didn't feel like they blew it out so much that it needed to selectively render the game. At least it gave off the impression that Fallen Order would just load the whole planet that you were on to some extent. Whereas now it definitely feels like it's, I wouldn't say chugging, but it's close to chugging sometimes. That's kind of the biggest technical complaint. There's moments where just general buggy glitch stuff happens. You'll fall through the map. You'll not, hits won't register during combat. The weapon system will bug out. You'll get caught on objects like a rock or whatever. That happens somewhat frequently, which is lame. It's certainly not unplayable by any means, but its bad launch and its continued, I wouldn't say troubled, but rough state is definitely going to kill this game's momentum moving forward, especially if it's going to be another 4 or 5 years before the next one. I think more people might end up going back to Fallen Order more than they're going to go back to this, which is lame because I think a lot of the game has a lot more merit than Fallen Order did. It's a lot more ambitious. It looks visually like a variety more, it looks better. There's a lot more variety from location to location. There's a lot more characters. There's a lot more just different shit to look at. But I do think it's very stifled by its, I would assume, bad production cycle behind the scenes. Just kind of rushed out the door too fast. Customization is a lot better this time around as well. It's not amazing, and a lot of it doesn't matter, but there are a lot more cosmetic options, whether it goes to Cal's facial hair, clothing items, like specifically BD1's like entire body is customizable. Same thing with lightsaber parts. They don't do anything gameplay wise, and they're not the most exciting collectible to pick up in the world, but it's more of what the first game did, and I'm fine with that. I did like the customization system of the first game. Customizing your lightsaber is a little silly because it does end up being hidden by your hand very frequently, but whatever. I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much to me. The customization options all look good, and that's the bigger thing this time around, whereas last time, a lot of the options definitely felt a little rushed, and a little like, crap, we need to make another poncho. This is a lot of more variety, and I think most of them actually look pretty good. There's also an option during New Game Plus that you can basically randomize your appearance, and I think that's awesome. Like, it turns your lightsaber into a rainbow. Like, every 4 seconds, it'll, like, change color. Like, it just constantly...
That's cool.
...spins around the color spectrum, and then every time you die and respawn, it changes your appearance, like, randomly. So you'll go from mullet and goatee to, like, skinhead. It's really cool. It's silly, but it is nice. New Game Plus is also disappointing, as it was with the first game. It was released a couple of weeks after launch, which is not cool. And also because a lot of the new abilities you get during the campaign are locked behind story choices, or not story choices, but like story plot points. It's not like you're going to go through like playing a Souls game or whatever on New Game Plus. It is still more like you can use your customization options pretty early on, and you're powered up really quickly, but not everything is unlocked from day one. It's not like you're breaking the map right out the gate, which is disappointing. There also just isn't much to reward you for completing a New Game Plus run through. It's like one achievement. So that's kind of lame. They added fast travel for meditation points, which I heard was a big complaint for people in the first game, so that's nice. It's only on the same planet, which makes sense, because they really want you to go back to the Mantis to travel. So if you are missing one collectible in one spot of the map, you can just use the meditation points to travel. I still think it's way more fun to run around the map, but because the map is pretty big in some areas, it does make sense to add more fast travel. But I didn't do it that much. I didn't feel like I had to. Like Spider-Man for PlayStation. The web swinging is so fast, you barely need to fast travel. Like, you can, but, like, are you stupid? Overall, really good game. But it's kind of a travesty that it launched in such a bad technical state that it's gonna be buried by, like, next year. Just kind of sad. Just really fucking good. But you have to get through certain technical problems and frustrations to, appreciate what it has to offer.
Do you feel that this should be in the talks for Game of the Year?
Ugh. I think it being nominated makes sense. I really don't think it should win, though. I think because it is a sequel that is more of the same, even if the scope is bigger and it's more ambitious, it is a sequel to a game that mostly is more of what the last game was.
But so aren't so many other games on the list for Game of the Year.
Yeah, but like...
You got RE4, you got Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay, I would compare it with Tears of the Kingdom from what I can tell. It's bigger and it's better, but it is also more of the same. Yeah. Same thing with Spider-Man, from what I can hear. I think RE4 and Dead Space Remake shouldn't be allowed on the list because they're remakes, even if they are both from the ground up. And like last season, which means last month, like Dead Space Remake was like our top game of last year.
Pretty much.
I don't think like official game awards, I don't think it should be considered. I think it makes sense, but I think that's dumb. I think that's snubbing a bunch of other games that have a much better case. Like Baldur's Gate 3. Mm-hmm. I haven't even played it, and it looks like Game of the Year. Mm-hmm. So, I'd say nominated. I definitely say out of the list, I wouldn't vote for it. But if we had ranked choice voting, it would be in like my top 5, I think.
Intriguing.
The news, baby.
I found an extra bit of news.
Oh, wow. Aren't
I'm
you so fucking smart?
From the PCGamer.com, just days after we got our first look at Amazon's Fallout TV series, we've been spoiled with another first look. That's a terrible sentence. The trailer introduces us to Lucy, played by Ella Purnell, who has to leave the familiar confines of Vault 30... I can't English. Vault 33 and head into a post-apocalyptic world where even the sight of a tumbleweed is alarming to her. We also meet a bounty hunter called the Ghoul, played by Walton Goggins, who does some negotiating with a gun in a ramshackle town, and Maximus, a squire for the militaristic cabal, the Brotherhood of Steel, who quickly gets in over his head. The Fallout TV show is releasing on Prime in April of 2024.
This looks really good.
I think it looks great. I'm excited for it, and I hope it doesn't suck.
I do hope it doesn't suck. It looks like it's good, but it'll suck. Everything that looks good sucks. I have come to expect the worst.
Where do you think this Fallout TV show is going to take place?
Meaning?
Where in the country? Each Fallout game takes place in a different place, which is kind of the appeal that the series has for me.
Colorado. I don't know.
I saw a bunch of like sandy beaches. I think it's going to be California or something. One of my favorite memories is jumping into Fallout 4 as my first Fallout and not knowing anything about it and getting to Diamond City and going, that looks like the Green Mountain. Holy shit, we're at Boston? It was so cool, like, figuring out that I was standing in Fenway in-game. It was so cool.
Holy shit, is that Matt Damon's dead body over there?
That was, like, peak Fallout moment for me. And then I got bored with the game after a while.
Yeah.
Just didn't go back to it.
We also got a trailer for Halo, the series, Season 2.
You didn't want to believe me when I said that Season 2 was coming.
Yeah. They will be remembered. Halo, the series, returns February 8th, exclusively on Paramount Plus, the worst streaming service next to Pisscock. Master Queef John 117 leads his team of...
Master Chef. Mr. Chef.
Mr. Chef. John 117 leads his team of elite Spartans, but not elite Spartans, mind you.
They were
lowercase e elite.
They were pretty plain elite Spartans, if I'm telling the truth.
I don't know. I like Bokeem Woodbine. I thought that was solid. Against the alien threat known as the Covenant, his ex-girlfriend, as humanity's As humanity's best hope for winning the war, John 117 discovers his deep connection to a mysterious alien structure that holds the key to humankind's salvation or its destruction. The Halo ring, baby. We're on the donut. It looks better.
Looks fine. I hope it's better.
The suit looks better. I liked the suit before, but I do think this one looks better.
Really don't want to cover it next season.
Yeah.
Unless the internet melts down and goes, holy shit, guys, it's great.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm going to wait until the whole season's out to watch it. But it does look better, so I'll take it. It's a good sign. From cheekypuppy.com.
From thegrowingwiener.com. From naughtydog.com. The team here at Naughty Dog is excited to announce The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. The definitive...
That's so funny.
Shut up! The definitive way to experience the acclaimed The Last of Us sequel originally released 3 years ago. We are thrilled to confirm you won't have to wait long for it either. Players can jump into Ellie and Abby's emotional journeys on the PS5 console on January 19th of 2024. Almost a month away. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is designed to let you dig deeper into both its development and mechanics. Chief among these is a brand new mode called No Return, a roguelike survival mode designed to let players prove their mettle in randomized encounters and experience The Last of Us Part 2's combat in a fresh experience.
Chief Among Us? Halo and Among Us crossover? Now we're talking.
The mode includes a host of playable characters to choose from, some playable for the first time in the Last of Us franchise, which you may have spotted in the trailer, who each come with their own traits to suit different playstyles. Players will chart their own course on each run, choosing between various stealth and combat encounters that will pit you against a range of enemies with unique twists that can add new, unexpected factors to any given encounter. Last of Us Part 2 Remastered will feature enhanced graphics, including native 4K output in Fidelity mode, 1440p upscaled to 4K in performance mode, and unlocked frame rate option for TVs that support VRR and other freaking PC Master Race gamer words. It all brings the world of Part 2's story to life in richer and smoother detail, from the snow-swept mountains of Jackson, Wyoming, to the rainy cityscape of Seattle, Washington, and should make a first visit or a return trip to the complex journeys of Ellie and Abby all the more engrossing. Part 2 Remastered takes advantage of the PS5's power and features in more ways as well, including improved loading times. Part 2 Remastered also incorporates DualSense wireless controller haptic feedback and adaptive triggers integration to better immerse you in every moment of combat and exploration.
You can feel the density of the boobies with the triggers. And
I would love that. And good news for existing owners of The Last of Us Part 2 on PlayStation 4. You will be able to upgrade to a digital version of All the Words for $10 at launch. That I like. I have liked that very much, and I hope companies continue to do that.
I agree.
You'll also be able to import your saves from the original game to Part 2 Remastered.
There's some other stuff on top of it. Mostly it was like, there's like documentaries and like behind the scenes things. But on the one hand, stop remaking games 3 years after they come out. But also, they are adding more than I thought they were.
It's better than... It's basically just adding a DLC. Like,
yes.
Improved graphics, haptic feedback, and all that crap for PS5. New game mode. It sounds like a really, really big update. Or DLC, or whatever.
It reminds me of the version of The Last of Us that most people played, the PS4 version, which just included the DLC and like some minor tech tweaks. Mm-hmm. But also, I'm pretty confident that didn't launch at $60 or $70. I think that launched at like 30 or 40.
Yes.
Whereas this is 60 or 70. But the fact if you already own a copy, you can upgrade for $10 has been something that something that they've been doing for a lot of PS4 and PS5 games like Spider-Man and Miles Morales and whatever, and I do think that that's a really good practice, especially because PlayStation hates their player base so much. It's rare that they do something smart like that. So mixed bag. It looks almost identical. Like, you thought the shift from the first one remaster was low. This one, the comparison is like literally 1-to-1, but you know, the additions sound good.
I don't mind it. The name is dumb. To relaunch a remaster for a game that just came out is dumb. But knowing that it's just an update, a really, really big update, or a DLC or whatever for $10, like that's good.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing I didn't add in. They also are adding in a bunch of uncompleted levels. I couldn't tell if it just meant that they had footage of them or they were going to be partially playable, but they're putting in certain levels that they cut, which makes it sound like it's a gameplay thing, but considering you can use your old save file, I would assume it's more like we made a documentary about this one level we wanted to do, but it didn't work, which is still something. It's not as offensive as it sounded initially when it got leaked, but it's still not like, dang, I'm gonna run out the door and spend $70 on this.
Yeah, no.
Like, no, go buy the old version for like $20 and then get the $10 upgrade. Economics.
And that's why we have the name of the show. Two Broke Bastards or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Engadget.com, Netflix continues to bet big on gaming. The streamer just announced that Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto: The Trilogy, the definitive edition, will hit
Which is actually the shit edition, but continue.
Yes, will hit its platform on December 14th. The game will be free to play for Netflix subscribers like the rest of its library. Each of the 3 titles included in the collection have been updated for mobile as well. The games included inside these games include the iconic GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. They will be playable via the Netflix app, but also available as standalone apps on Android and iOS. I still don't know why Netflix is doing this, and also, yeah, this is a bad choice because this update was crap.
I kind of like Netflix doing it, though.
Why?
It's kind of cool to get
As a gimmick!
extra things with the Netflix.
Yeah, as you're paying $29 for it now. It goes up every 3 months.
The Shredder's TMNT Shredder's Revenge is on the Netflix app, and that's the only game that's really bringing up the quality.
I just don't get it, like, because you're just it turns it into a mobile game, and like I don't play video games to play mobile games or mobile ports of games. That's why, like, I don't know, like all the Steam Deck weird, like all of the streaming devices when those were really big for a couple years, it's like they're just phone games. I don't care. Like I want to buy a gaming console to play gaming.
I really just wish that Netflix would focus on giving better TV or movies.
You mean actually letting its series go on past season 2?
Not even, just like give me the big names in TV and movies.
Lamau, nice try.
Yes. From Kotaku.com, a live-action adaptation of The Legend of Zelda is finally happening. Nintendo announced the upcoming production will be helmed by both Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto and Marvel Studios founder Avi Arad in partnership with Sony Pictures Entertainment. The movie will be directed by Wes Ball, whose illustrious credits include the Maze Runner trilogy, 2024's upcoming Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and that's it. Sony is footing half the bill. Wow.
Why no animated?
Why not go back through the Despicable Me house?
Illumination.
Yes, that one.
Especially because they waited for this until the Super Mario Bros. Movie hit like $1 billion. And then they're like, green light the next one.
Yeah,
but also,
exactly.
It has nothing to do with it.
Like, why not go through Illumination again and make another shit ton of money?
Because they want to cast Tom Holland as Link. You know it's going to happen.
My bit of news is not much. You're going to be mad at me. But Rockstar has announced Trailer 1 will come out on Tuesday, December 5th.
For GTA 6.
Probably.
No, it's GTA 6.
That's what everybody's saying.
Yeah. What else would it be?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's GTA 6.
It should be.
But I don't care because GTA sucks. GTA 4 was okay. I don't care. The internet's going to explode and I don't give a shit. GTA 5 has been re-released almost as many times as Skyrim.
But when FromSoft released a couple of promotional pictures of, like, here's an item from inside the game of what we're going to release next, and I was like, that's the exact same model from Bloodborne. It's going to be Bloodborne 2, baby. And that's what a lot of the internet said. It was actually Sekiro. So that's why I know say name.
Then why have the contrary opinion if you won't fight for it?
I'm not saying it's not GTA 6. It should be. It probably is. But they haven't put a name on it. I'm not putting a name on it.
They only... Fucking Rockstar, the worst developer, only develops 2 fucking game series. One that's the best thing ever, and one that's the worst thing ever.
Which one of that is Bully?
Bully is not a franchise, it was one game that people haven't let go of yet. God, the Bully sequel discourse never ends.
No. I want another LA Noire, honestly.
Good luck.
That'd be cool.
Sure. Another 10-year-old game.
The LA Noire OG is outdated, and I wish we could get another.
That's why I go to detective game in general.
It doesn't even have to be like the size of Grand Theft Auto 5 or whatever. Like,
that would be horrible.
Make it small.
I would not want to play that.
Right. Make it small. Make it a gumshoe detective game. Make it grungy and gross and weird. Freaking Black Dahlia murder. Gross and weird, because Rockstar would be great at that.
Doubt.
But it'd be great.
Doubt. I don't trust them.
I see what you're doing.
They've been milking GTA 5 for like 10 years now. It's a bajillion-dollar franchise because it's only microtransactions, and yet every retard plays it. The worst,
I don't play it.
The worst retard you know exclusively plays GTA and then makes fun of FIFA players. They're the same game series, I'm sorry.
Hello, Colin? Hey, have you played Grand Theft Auto?
He's not that retarded.
I didn't think so.
Yeah,
All
no,
right.
he's not that bad.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah. I don't like it.
He's gonna listen to that and be so mad.
He never listens to anything, especially not this show. He's never listened to any of these, which we've been doing for 2 years now.
We watched Warcraft.
We did watch Warcraft. I liked this movie when it came out.
Speaking of retard energy.
Yes. I liked it when it came out. I was 15, and now it's like, wow, movie.
Spoilers. I put this right on the shelf next to Super Mario Brothers movie. The Mario movie. Yeah.
Oh. I feel like it's lower, but I can't justify that because I want to shit on the Mario movie more, but I can't.
Yeah.
It's just such a nothing.
That's what this one felt like too. I cannot tell you a single name of a single character or place.
Azeroth. The only real positive is the art style. When the movie doesn't look like shit, the art style is cool. It translates the Warcraft art style very well.
To be fair, the movie did not look like shit. It was just like, that's some rough animation or rough CG or whatever. But it overall looked good. It looked decent.
It's okay.
It was passable as a fantasy movie.
Considering every Marvel movie looks worse than it than Warcraft right now, I guess it's acceptable.
Except for the marbles.
The marbles looks about the same, to be fair. The marbles didn't look great. It was just fun. It was pretty rough.
War.
The motion capture was really well done.
Yep.
For the orcos. And then the humans were all really boring and had nothing and no personality.
Have the red orcs, and you have the green orcs, and you have the human spellcasters.
They fight.
You have the burbs, the biggest burbs.
And then you have random, like, half-breed sex slave. For no reason. Because we need more sex.
I say it's a hate crime calling her a half-breed sex slave.
I'm pretty sure that's the implication, but, you know, I feel like the movie didn't need more...
They didn't say half-breed sex slave?
I don't think the movie needed more sex appeal in it. Not like that.
But
where
to call her a half-breed.
She is! That's why she's small. That's why she's played by an actor in makeup and not a big CGI monstrosity. There are other orc women in the movie that are CGI monstrosities, and they can all crush me. But she was just like a lady with funny teeth. British.
She's what brought this movie up a star.
No. She serves no fucking purpose.
But she looks great.
No, she doesn't. I hate the fucking makeup. It looks like garbage. The only thing I like are the boobs. And they're not barely even there.
I love pushing you closer to the edge of the cliff.
All that it was there for was to set up a stupid... She betrayed us because nobody knows why for sequel bait that we'll never see. Like,
she did that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't remember anything. We watched it like yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah. No, don't like it. Me no likey.
There was definitely an art style. There was I really liked the costumes. Whatever was practical, it was big and bulky and funny.
Very dorky. Very
cartoonish, and it made me chuckle. It looked good and funny. The shaman, when he does the magic swoopy, his eyes turn purple, and that was I think the only note that I took down was that there was a really specific usage of color in this movie. Like,
green is bad.
there was purple magic and there was blue magic, and the humans wore the silver and blue, and the orcs wore the brown when it was the red orcs, and the green orcs wore the black or whatever. Like, it was very, very specific.
I think that's a translation from the games, because when you're controlling factions from a bird's eye view, you need like specific colors,
bright, vivid colors, but it wasn't clashing. It looked really good. It meshed well together.
The orcs have piercings in their teeth.
Yes, and that made me cringe.
It's very uncomfortable looking. There's a lot of nipple piercings in this movie.
This tooth hurts right now, actually, and I don't know why.
There's nipple piercings in this movie, and they make me very uncomfortable.
I missed those.
They were only on dudes, and they were only on dude orcs.
That's too bad.
Imagine being the guy that had to render that. You're like, and then we're gonna add a little bit of a gradient on the shadow here, and like you're talking about like the ball on the end of the nipple piercing on the giant orc man, and it's all digital. Some people get to do the dream job, man.
Big blue goddamn.
No. Oh yeah, somebody had to animate the scrot on that
for like a year.
Oh, that would have been interesting. This one's really forgettable.
Extremely.
It's not offensive, but it is definitely boring. And it doesn't lead to much other than sequel bait.
Like you were saying, you have to be reading the wiki as you watch to understand people's motivations for doing things that happen in the movie, and then it's all set up bait for the next 6 movies that will never ever happen. No. So, extremely forgettable.
Lame.
Throwaway movie. But not painful.
No.
So I'll take it.
I would say
it's a great Sunday afternoon movie.
I wouldn't say that, but
you get home from church, you make a big lunch, you watch the first half hour as you eat your lunch, and then you lean back and you sleep for 2 hours. It's great.
Okay, that's better.
Sunday afternoon movie.
I guess. Maybe I just don't think about things like that.
That is because your religion is not sport ball. You don't understand these things.
Yes. Okay, so I would say...
Say it.
I'm thinking. I'm trying to find the damn fucking heckin' list, man.
I'm waiting. Still waiting.
All right, so I'd put it below. But we're going below Tomb Raider. We're going below Detective Pikachu. Below the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Whoa.
I can agree with that.
I put it Warcraft and then Super Mario's.
Oh.
Like, they're side by side, but I put Warcraft up above. It's pretty arguable which way it goes.
It's below Sonic and Sonic 2.
I think you're right.
It's below Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Both of them.
Yep.
Both of the only okay ones.
Yep.
I'd say it's on par with Uncharted. I think. I'd put it on par with Uncharted. And FNAF, honestly.
No, FNAF fell way lower. I don't think I have Sonics on here.
I'd say we're putting it at about the I'd say FNAF.
It fell below Dungeons and Dragons for sure.
Well, yeah, that's based on a board game. That movie was good. With no asterisk next to it. That was just a good movie.
It's not the worst movie I've seen this week.
This week? What other shit have you watched this week?
So, here we go.
Jeez.
Was supposed to start the Resident Evil series this month. It was gonna be Resident Evil 0. And I went on my huge expedition, right? And I had Resident Evil 0 downloaded, and I tried to play it. So my first playthrough started with trying to correct the settings to make it work to fit on the screen because it popped up in windowed mode or whatever. Like trying to fix all the options like that, make it fit my screen, not windowed, full screen. Trying to understand the controls because there's no introduction, and I wasn't playing with the controller. I was playing mouse and keyboard. And I picked up the first key and saved the game, and I closed the game to find the options menu again to change more settings, and I loaded back in and the key was gone. It was about an hour into the game, so I had to start over because you need the key to open the door to continue. So I started over, and something went wrong. I think I died or something, so I had to start over again because I was still learning the controls. And this third run, I couldn't run. This will be important later. So what happens is this game falls in right before the first game. Right before, like minutes before the events of the first game. It actually shows the helicopter crashing or whatever, and then you find a I don't even remember the story. You get on a freaking train.
Trains. I love trains.
Zombies on the train.
Oh, Train to Busan?
And it's you as a chick and a guy, and you're trying to freaking survive the train, finding all the pieces and the clues of what happened and what's going on. And there's bugs everywhere that help spread the virus instead of just the freaking zombies, and it's pretty gross. So I liked the train setting. I like trains to begin with. A slight autistic moment.
Do you now? I had no idea.
This Resident Evil 0 is well known for its weird split up, like Scooby-Doo, let's split up game feature where you can immediately swap between the guy and the chick. The guy can stay in the room that you tell him to, or he can pair up with you, he can follow you around, and there's just a button that quick swaps you between the two characters. And this is very important for like puzzle solving later. The two get split up. One's on like the second floor, one's on the first floor, and has to run around and then pass up the key item to the second floor through the dumbwaiter to the other person so that they can get out of the room that they're locked in or whatever. Very cool feature, lots of fun. I was really looking forward to solving puzzles with this feature. This game got rid of the loot box where you just throw all your shit into a box that you can save for later. There's no loot box. You just have a shared inventory between the two characters. And if you plan poorly, you can drop your shit on the floor and it doesn't disappear. It stays right there and you can pick it up later, which is cool and very good. There's a lot of backtracking back and forth through the train. I think there's like 5 or 6 cars. And zombies pop up seemingly randomly as you keep running back and forth, unlocking doors and progressing further. There's a grapple shot, which I saw is everybody's biggest complaint about the game because it takes up 2 slots in your inventory and you have to carry it everywhere because it's important to progress like each level or whatever. And it's a pain in the ass because that's all it's used for. It's not a weapon. It just progresses you to the locked door once you finally get there, but you don't know when you're gonna get there until you get there and you're like, oh shit, I need to grapple shot. There was a boss that was fun. There was, I don't know, it was just typical Resident Evil playthrough until I was done investigating the train. I finally got to the forward compartment and they said, oh shit, plot and stuff, we need to work together. One person stays here, one person runs all the way to the back of the train, and we have to pull the lever at the same time, and we only have 3 minutes to do it before we crash and die and explode or whatever.
You have to sprint.
You have to sprint. And I couldn't sprint.
That's fucked.
Yes.
That's so funny.
It's extremely annoying because I was having fun. But this is multiple hours in and I can't sprint. And I cannot. Like, so many zombies pop up to slow you down, and the train has such tight quarters that you have to be really good at speedrunning strats to get around the zombies, and I didn't even come close within multiple tries. So I give up. So that's my review for Resident Evil 0. I couldn't even beat the first level. Wow. Go me.
That sucks. Good job. I'm so proud of you.
I downloaded another game that I was going to review, and I ran out of time, but I'll talk about that during happy hour because it's fun, sort of. And so in the meantime, I watched Resident Evil Death Island.
Oh boy.
Which came out this year.
Oh boy.
It is on Netflix here in the America. And it follows Jill Valentine and Leon Kennedy as there's yet another outbreak somewhere. On Alcatraz, actually.
Ooh.
And it kind of felt like the OG Black Ops zombie map on Alcatraz, kind of. There was definitely a plot here.
But
it was so far head up ass that I didn't bother to search the Wikipedia to find out where this falls in the timeline. And there's a guy going, I'm the bad guy. And everybody's like, I'm sick of you being the bad guy. And I was like, who is this guy? I was pretty bored watching it. The animation's fine. It's passable. It's better than some of the Resident Evil movies that I've seen. The animated Resident Evil movies.
I was gonna say, this got a pretty good reception this year.
It's just fine though. Like, you need to be a big time fan of the series and understand what is going on before you even press play to really fully appreciate it. The bad guy has figured out how to spread the virus without a zombie bite or scratch or whatever, which is very exciting. I was riveted. How is very, very funny and like
sex. I bet they do the sex. They do this. Oh.
No. They're just on a tour through Alcatraz, and all of a sudden people turn like right next to Jill and Leon. Not Leon, but the other guy, the big bulky guy next to Jill. Yeah, it's just people just start immediately turning, and it's like, what the heck? I thought there weren't zombies or whatever. This is weird. It's zombie alligators that like open up by their spine and spread all these tiny little robot mosquitoes that bite people and infect them with the T virus or something.
Ew. That's really weird.
It was gross and weird and dumb.
They crawl under your toenails. That's weird.
Not much to write home about. It wasn't extremely painful, but I was bored. I was definitely multitasking while I watched this. And the dub was not the greatest either.
Oof.
There were many times where I was like, that is not what she just said. I watch shows from other countries and I don't mind poor dubs, but it was like, that wasn't even close.
It's not even cold in here. My breath is fogging. What the fuck? I'm warm. I'm warm.
I'm telling you, this place is haunted.
Probably is. You know what else is haunted? This list. And how much of it is shit.
Mm-hmm. So,
Good. Fine. Nah.
definitely. Wait, how did Warcraft score above Sonic? Or Sonic 2?
It's below Sonic 2. It's above Sonic 1. Sonic 1 really did look like whole absolute shit.
Wow.
Sonic 2 at least looks somewhat better and more like stable. Still bad and not very funny, but
So
at least it didn't look like it was filmed in a garage.
It's been a rough start to the Resident Evil series. Thankfully, it gets better. I just gotta get past the first couple rough ones.
You had a weird fucking week, man.
It was terrible.
I'm sorry?
Because I wanted to like this one.
And you didn't even get the opportunity to dislike it. It's
Right.
just busted. This is what you get for playing it on PC, you fucking nerd. If you fucking downloaded, if you used an actual disc, this shit would work. But you had to get your Mega Ultra Super PC download you probably got off of Pirate Bay.
Steam.
Same thing, honestly.
So Resident Evil 1 is next.
You're doing remake, right?
Yes?
Not just the first one?
No.
Yeah, you're too young.
Remastered.
Whatever the fuck.
And then it'll be the remakes from then on. Until 5 and 6. 7, 8.
They'll pull a Naughty Dog and then release 8 version 2 in like a month with like 4 extra pixels.
I actually got the DLC for like $5 a couple of months ago. I'm like, I'm gonna need this in a couple of months.
Yeah.
$5 or $10, something like that. I think that's the show.
Oh shit, I actually had something else that I forgot to do.
Oh, fit. Oh, fit, man.
So when I reviewed Jedi Fallen Order,
Yeah.
there was a tie-in comic book that ended up actually being a bit of a bop.
You should save that for happy hour.
No! Because then I'm gonna fucking rearrange that shit. I also watched The Wild Thornberries. That took me a second.
I've never seen it.
It's the Rugrats' retarded cousin.
I was never allowed to watch Rugrats.
I didn't watch much of it as a kid. So there's a tie-in novel that takes place between the two games that explains why the team broke up.
Whoa.
And the book's not very good, which is sad because there's actually some stuff in here that I thought was pretty cool. It takes place, I think, about a year after the first game. Basically, they pick up a rando, and this person is a stormtrooper and is like, I want to get out of the Empire, please help. So they do it. There's a bunch of twists and turns. Grease loses an arm to an Inquisitor, and that's why in Survivor he has a metal arm. Basically, it's a convoluted reason to break the team up because they're all going in different directions. Basically, is like Survivor is mostly about Cal only doing the mission and not knowing how to slow down and like do anything, and everyone else is doing other things because they know how to have a life. And this, like, the impetus for the team breaking up is like, we're gonna all go in our other directions because you're just like kind of going nutty, bro. And that's interesting. It's not really explored in the game, but it's alluded to enough that I think it's fine. But in this book, it turns into a love triangle, and it's like, oh my gosh, Marin's fucking this hot lady. Oh my god, I'm mad. And it's like, it's written by an author who does YA romance novels. And I didn't want that to be like detractor. I'll read anything that says Star Wars on it. And it wasn't all bad, but like the balance between plot, action, and like sitting around and whining was really bad. And also the characters are kind of out of character for a lot of the book. It's pretty rough. Like, I don't think the author was given a good enough layout of what to do and not do. It was a couple of minor details, and like Grease needs to lose an arm, and like that was it. Whereas like even like the Grease loses an arm because of Seer's decision, but he in the game wants to see Seer again because she's off being a fucking monk and being a dork and like whatever, and he's mostly mad with Cal, and it's like, but that it wasn't his fault. It was his fault because he's being a dickhead, but like it was literally Seer's lightsaber that went through your arm. Like, the fuck. It felt sloppy.
Wow.
Which is lame, because there's some passages that are actually pretty okay. There's some stuff that's cool, like it describes how the team works on a mission, which was done really well, but the really needed a few more drafts at a minimum.
How much did you spend on it?
Like $30. It's a hardcover copy. The cover looks good, but the cover also gives you the impression that the fifth brother is the main antagonist, and he only is on a technicality, because he only spends like 2 chapters in the book. Most of the book is people fighting with each other and being like, no, you lied, and then you had sex with this person. I don't like that. And it's like, the way that these characters are described oscillates between like, that hits the nail on the head, and like, ew, that sounds wrong. Not a fan.
Was the artwork good?
It was a book.
Oh, book. I thought you said comic book.
Nope, book.
Well,
I wish it was a comic book, because it would have been a lot more tolerable. The cover looked good, but no, nice. I wish it was a comic book, because even this story in a comic book I think would have been better, because this really felt like they were milking a couple of plot points that they were given. It's not the worst like canon Star Wars book I've read. That's the first Aftermath book. That one's shit, but this was pretty low on the list.
And that's the show.
That is the show.
Thank you to Jeff Lawrence and Caitlin for paying us. We continue to make shows because they pay us. If you want to pay us so that we can continue to make shows, please go to patreon.com/dimecomicbros network and give us money.
I love money. I steal spoons so I can sell them just to get money.
Just so that you can give that money over to Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. They take all of our money, and we get cool things, and we scurry home like a happy raccoon.
Yes.
Next month, I should be talking about Resident Evil 1 Remastered, and Spencer's going to be talking about a game that he played, probably.
I just remembered I should start. I'm going to be doing Dead Space 2. I should get going on that.
Yeah, probably.
I took this past week off of doing anything because I was ahead, and then we waited an extra week. And I was like, I feel so confident in being able to speak to my game because I played it through and blah, 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 blah. And I'm now realizing that I've never finished Dead Space 2, so... What
better way to celebrate the Christmas season than to play Dead Space 2?
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Tune in then!
Tuna in.
Always sit so close to it. One of these days you're gonna eat it. I just know it. You're just gonna bink in the brain and just take a bite out of it.
Probably. It looks crunchy.
I'm gonna assume it's my turn to go first.
It might be.
That would suck. Really?
Wake up.
You were all awake when you got here, and then you eat a couple of bites of food, and then just go...